Hi, I'm Debbie Hartner.
I'm Elsie Johnson.
We are two sisters, Southern Cooking. Hey yo, it's Debbie. We are in the kitchen today in Warner Robins, and we're going to be making vanilla wafers from scratch. So I can't wait to share this with you. A customer wanted homemade banana pudding, so I'm going to be doing vanilla wafers, and then we're going to be on the stove, and I'm going to show you a southern banana pudding. It's not your mama's banana pudding, but it is a southern version. So stay tuned.
Hey y'all, so we are back and we are getting ready to make our vanilla wafers homemade. Now these are going to be like the ones you buy in the store. They're going to be more like a shortbread kind of consistency. So I'm going to put in some butter here. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my sugar. And I'm going to whip this up until it's creamy, and then I'll start adding in the other ingredients. Okay, so I'm going to put it at a stir now. It's nice and fluffy, and I'm going to add in my room temperature egg. And my 4 teaspoons of vanilla. So before we do anything else, I'm just going to scrape this down real quick just to make sure that everything is mixed and well combined, because we don't want to leave any of this butter sugar combination up on the sides. We want it to be nice and fluffy and mixed. So we have it at the stir mode. I'm just going to go ahead and add in slowly. About half. Then I'm going to add in about half of my milk. So this is going to be a thick cookie because it is going to be like a shortbread kind of consistency because it's a vanilla wafer. This is what we're going to put inside of our banana pudding. It's going to be so good, y'all. I have the oven already preheated at 350 degrees. And we're going to just push this down here real quick. I have a cookie scoop that we're going to be using. And we're going to be scooping them up, and then I'll show you how to flatten them out with a wet finger so that your cookies won't be like puffy. Because we do have 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, so it may try to get a little puffy, so we're going to prevent that. We're going to go ahead and head that off at the pass so we don't have to deal with fluffy cookies. We want nice flat vanilla wafers. All right, so we are good. Just going to go ahead and wipe these down so we make sure we get all the cookies we can get out of this batch here. And then I'm going to take you guys to the stovetop in the meantime while these are baking in the oven. This is going to bake at 350 for about 12 to 15 minutes. I already got my parchment lined cookie tin ready. It's set aside. If you have parchment, you don't have to spray it, which is really nice because it won't stick. So, just makes life a little easier. Hey y'all, so I have gotten it all mixed together. So what I'm gonna do now is take my cookie sheet that is a parchment lined cookie sheet here. So I don't have to use any spray, so it'll be great. And I'm going to go ahead and use 2 teaspoons on my cookie. So I'm wetting my fingers. I'm putting them in a ball and I'm gonna lay them down on my cookie sheet. Now, in a moment, you will see what I do with them because I'm going to actually push them out and make them flat, but I want them round also because I don't want them kind of misshapen. So we're gonna do 3 in a row, 2 inches apart. And they're gonna bake for 350 for 12 to 14 minutes. And I have a set already in there. And I think I want to make them a little bit smaller because I did use the tablespoon size and I was kind of unhappy with how big they were because they really shouldn't be that large to be able to put them into a banana pudding. So, all right. So we are going to go ahead and continue to get this mixed up and plated on my cookie sheet, and I will show you what it looks like when it gets ready to go into the oven. I'm going to show you a little trick here in order to make your cookies not stick to your fingers because they are sticky, very tacky. You need to push them out flat like this, and that way they won't rise too much. Now they're still going to rise a little bit, but you want them to be flat as you can. And also I put water on my fingers when I was rolling them so it wouldn't stick. It's just another chef's tip for you. You want to be extra special and make your own wafers, then this is what you do. And I'm telling you, this is a delicious recipe. It is very, very good. I'm hoping that I get at least maybe 36 out of this because I made some really big. Technically, you're supposed to get about 50 out of this, but I made my first ones a little large. All right, so this one is ready to go in the oven also. I'll put it in there for about 12 to 14 minutes and then I will get it out, let it cool down. It's gonna be good, y'all. We will see you guys shortly. Okay, so now we're at the point of where we are ready to make our pudding. And I'm going to go ahead and mix most of the ingredients together here aside, and then I'm going to pour the rest of the milk and the rest of the sugar in, and I'm going to let it combine and come to a low boil, and then we'll temper the eggs, and then we'll put it back into the pan and let it thicken up. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So I have 3 egg yolks here. I have a cup of half and half. And I have a cup of whole milk. I have a 1/4 of a cup of sugar and 4 1/2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
And I'm just going to go ahead and whisk this together until it's smooth. And then I'll put the rest of the milk and the rest of the sugar in the pan, and I'll turn the camera around so you guys can see that. I'm just trying to get all the cornstarch blended in here. I'm going to get a whisk here real quick. Just to bust up all of that cornstarch, just in case any of it is in chunks in here. I'll check that and see if it is. It looks pretty smooth to me. All right, so I'll go ahead and turn the camera around and show you what this part looks like. Be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and pour in my last cup of milk and my 1/4 cup of sugar. So at this time, I'm just going to go ahead and stir this. And just stir it occasionally, and then I'll let it come to a boil after this. And I'm going to actually bring the camera over so you can actually see it. This is what it looks like inside of the pot. And I'll be right back when it starts to boil. Okay guys, so we are at a boil here, and I'm going to go ahead and start tempering our mix here. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in here, and I'm going to start whisking. So I don't want any kind of clumps or anything. So I'm pretty vigorous about the whisking here. All right. All right. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and pour my mixture back in here, and I'm going to continue to vigorously whisk until it starts to thicken up. And that'll take a couple minutes. I want you to see this here. All right guys, when we get ready to take it off the heat, I'll show you what we do next. It's with vanilla and butter. You're gonna love it, and we'll be right back. So I just want to show you this real quick. It's starting to boil here. So it's getting really thick. So I'm gonna remove it from the heat here, and I'm gonna set the GoPro down, and then I'm going to put in my vanilla and my butter. Just hang tight here guys. Taking it off the heat. Okay guys, so I just put in my butter and my vanilla. I put in 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right. This is all ready to be served. Almost. We got the little pieces of butter that need to continue to melt. But I'm going to go ahead and start to assemble the banana pudding. I'll be right back guys. Y'all, we're going to go ahead and get ready here and start putting in the vanilla wafers in the bottom. Now I decided I'm going to put the largest of my vanilla wafers into the bottom, and I'll show you that here. I'm going to put about 3 down there. And next I'm going to start cutting up my bananas. Now I have 4 large bananas, and they are pretty fresh. They still look like a little green on them, so we're going to
go ahead and start slicing those up. I always take the tips off the end, and we'll go ahead and start slicing these on the bottom. And then we'll start layering our pudding in little by little. Now, sometimes I get a little chunky on my banana slicing, but it's gonna be good, y'all. All right. So I'm gonna pour in a little bit of the vanilla pudding that I just made. I'm gonna put down some more fresh cookies. These wafers are they smell so good. Oh my gosh. All right. So we're gonna put about 5 on that layer. And I might even have some left over at the top to be able to crumble up on the top. Now, the only thing that's not going to be homemade and fresh is I'm using Ready Whip today. And Ready Whip lasts a little bit longer than fresh whipped cream that you whip up, because that is, you know, it does last. You have to put it on just before you get ready to serve it. And I want it to be ready to go to the customer, so I figured that would be the one that would probably last along with be the little Ready Whip that you squeeze on the top, because it does have preservatives to keep it fresh. So, but I normally, if we're sitting down to dinner, I always make my whipped topping fresh with sugar, confectioner sugar and vanilla, and heavy whipping cream. All right, there are lots of bananas in here. I'll show you what it looks like before I pour in the vanilla pudding, so you guys can see that there's going to be lots of bananas and vanilla wafers. Okay, I'm just going to dip it over and show you. That's what it looks like right now. And I'm going to go ahead and pour in a little bit more of my pudding. This smells so good. There's nothing better than having fresh. Nothing in a can, a box, a bottle, or anything like that can ever take the place of fresh. It is always so much better. All right, so I'm putting on my 3rd banana. So I might actually put 2 bananas on this and make this my last layer. We'll see. Maybe not. We'll see though. Let me see how much pudding I have left, and then we'll go from there. All right. I might have one more layer. I might even have some left over to crumble on the top. How's that? This looks so good. And these vanilla wafers are amazing. yeah, I think I have enough to crumble on the top, because now I am doing my last banana and my last bit of the vanilla pudding. Vanilla pudding is so easy to make, and everybody thinks it's so difficult, but it's not. You just have to temper your eggs really well and just keep stirring. You have to stir like a madman. So, stir like a madman to make sure that you have no clumps in there, because that's how you end up losing your volume, is if you end up with clumps, because you have to get rid of your clumps. And you can always sift your pudding after it's done. You can put it through some kind of like a strainer, and you can sift it if you want to. Oh yeah, we are good. Look at that. That looks so yummy. All right, guys, I'm going to be putting in the last of the vanilla pudding now. I had just enough for 4 layers. Give me just a second. I'm going to grab a spoon so we can get that out safely. So I'm going to improvise and use a spatula. How's that? I can spread it with the spatula too, which will be totally awesome. So I know that Easter is coming up next week, and if you want to make a good, easy banana pudding, and you want to impress all of your relatives with your creativity, you can make the vanilla wafers also, because they're so easy to make. They really are. All right. So I am not going to, at this time, put the heavy whipping cream on, because the vanilla pudding is still warm, and I do not want it to cause any issues with that. So, all right. Go ahead and, all right. I'm just going to put some cookies around the top. Put one in the middle. And I'm just going to crumble up a little bit here. Just crumble it up. Put it all across the top here. It's going to be so good. And then we can put the heavy cream when I put it in the refrigerator and it sits up for a little bit, so it's cooled down quite a bit, because I do not want it to be, I don't want it to melt or to seize up or anything like that. Okay, guys, that is a simple Southern banana pudding. So good. Impress your relatives. They will think you're a genius because you made your own vanilla wafers. So there you go. Y'all have a blessed day and happy Easter, everybody. Hi, I'm Elsie.
And I'm Debbie. We're two sisters Southern Cooking. And we thank you for visiting our page. Please like, share, and subscribe.